Hello, hello. Welcome back to Calm AF. This is episode 320. I'm Kristen Finch, and today we are talking about a concept or a theory, if you will, that's making the rounds everywhere. It is really hard to be a person right now and have not heard of this concept. You maybe have heard people talking about it on social media, or you've seen quotes. Maybe you've heard people talking about it on podcasts. You maybe have even read the book that kicked this whole thing off. This book called The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. You probably get the gist of what let them, this theory is. Let them judge you, let them misunderstand you, let them be wrong about you, let them be in a bad mood, let them do whatever they're going to do, and stop trying to control everything. Just let them. And it sounds amazing. And everyone who hears about it for the first time is like, that's a thing we can do? I can just stop being an energy manager? I can just stop overworking and over-apologizing and over-functioning because it's okay if other people think thoughts about me that aren't true? Like, I can just let them do that? Yes. Yes, it is just as freeing and as liberating as you think it might be. Here's the problem. When you go off and you try to apply it, you realize it's not as easy as you think. This let them theory on its own is great, but if you don't have step 1 and step 2, then letting them is going to feel really hard. It's going to feel like a constant struggle, like you are just white knuckling your way trying to let them. Now, I want to be totally transparent. This may all be in the book. This may be something that is all talked about, but I haven't read the book. I don't listen to Mel Robbins' podcast. I don't follow her. I don't know what's all in there, but I am aware of this concept and this theory because I have been talking about this idea for years, since 2012. I had a dear client reach out to me a few months ago, and she's like, have you heard of this book? This person is saying, let them. And you told me to let him be in a bad mood, let him think what he's going to think in like 2012. So I think this person stole your idea. No, no one stole my idea. She didn't get it from me. I didn't get it from anyone. This is not a new thing. This is a universal truth. This is an ancient practice of detachment. It's another word for it. This isn't a TikTok trend. It's not just a cool quote, a cool idea to just share around. This is a way of being, a way of living. And yes, when you hear it, it sounds like amazing, like someone has cut the strings that were holding you tied up or has opened the door to the cage that you have been stuck in. And then you actually try to do it, and that's where things just seem to fall apart. That is what I want to talk about in this episode, how to let them without your head exploding. So let's dive in. So clearly letting them, this idea of detachment is the key to freedom, the key to unshakable inner peace, right? And when you think about it, in theory, this let them theory is like, yeah, it's okay for other people to just have the wrong idea about me. It's okay if something happens and I can just let them. And then you actually go to try to do it. So someone says they will get back to you. You're dating someone new and they don't text you back when they said they were going to. And you're like, just let them. That's what I'm doing now. I'm just going to let them without trying to analyze it. I'm just going to let them. Or someone at work takes credit for your idea at work. And I'm just going to let them. I'm going to let them. That's what I'm doing now. Someone talks shit about you behind your back. Someone breaks a boundary that you set. Someone shows up in a nasty mood and makes everything a big mess. And you're supposed to let them. This is what we're doing now. This is where this amazing idea we start seeing the cracks in this, because all of a sudden, let them feels like being walked on. It feels like being a doormat. It feels like being rejected or being betrayed. Feels unfair. Feels personal. And here's why. Because let them isn't just a cute idea that you can put into play because you know about it. There are a few skills that are absolutely 1000% necessary for you to have if you actually want to let them and feel that unshakable peace. Let them isn't a mindset shift, it's a nervous system practice. Fundamentally, that is what it is. Letting them does not mean being above it all, being enlightened. It means it's not pretending you don't care, right? A lot of times let them, like, just don't care what anybody thinks. That's not what we're trying to do here. Let them is about staying with your emotions. Whatever emotion shows up when someone lets you down, when someone hurts your feelings. And this is where people get it twisted. They often think that if I am letting them, then I shouldn't be feeling any negative feelings, any bad emotions. And that is not the case. This is not our goal. If you think that being regulated and being calm AF means you are always feeling only preferred feelings like happy and calm and joy, you have to understand you are a human. You've got a full spectrum of human emotions. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how you were built. That's how you were designed. And with this full range of emotions, it's a spectrum. Some of them on the top side, the good side, people like to call it, the preferred side is what I like to call it. Preferred feelings are things like happiness and joy and calm. And we're going to feel those sometimes, but we're also supposed to feel the non-preferred feelings because we're humans, because we don't get to opt out of non-preferred feelings. Here's the truth, though. Here is the skill set that you don't have yet, because if you did, you would be able to let them. You can have a non-preferred feeling and be regulated at the same time. You can be mad and calm AF, truly. Because calm AF isn't a feeling, calm AF is an energy. You can be deeply annoyed, super irritated, super upset, afraid, and still be operating from a regulated nervous system. Okay, regulated doesn't mean nice and happy and easy. It doesn't mean you're smiling through the pain. It means that you are able to control yourself, not suppressing your feelings, not having non-preferred feelings, but being able to have them, experience them, feel them without that non-preferred feeling pushing the alarm of your nervous system, dysregulating it, going into fight or flight, and hijacking your behavior. Regulated is where you can feel the emotion. You can feel the non-preferred feeling, but you're not like letting it drive the car. You can feel a non-preferred feeling without ghosting someone or lashing out or shutting down or people-pleasing. In order to let them, you have to be able to feel the discomfort of the non-preferred feeling and know that you have recalibrated your nervous system so it does not interpret non-preferred feelings as emergencies anymore. So now you can access your neocortex and you can make an empowered decision. You can choose, what am I going to do about this? I'm going to let them, and then what? Okay, that's regulation. That is being in charge of your nervous system, not at its mercy. You're never going to be able to let them if you are always at the mercy of your dysregulation. Because when something triggers you, and something will, I promise you, someone's going to cross a boundary. Someone's going to disrespect you. Someone's going to say something about you that isn't true. And your body is going to react. Someone's going to walk in the room in a really nasty mood, and your body is going to react. That's biology, okay? That is supposed to happen. And your nervous system doesn't give a shit if you have seen a cute quote about let them on Instagram, or you've even read the book and taken notes. It doesn't give a shit. When your nervous system senses danger, because it knows right now that all non-preferred feelings are dangerous, then it's going to react. It's what it's supposed to do until you have learned to recalibrate it. So as soon as your nervous system senses danger, it's going to react one of four ways. It's going to fight, it's going to argue, get defensive, or it's going to go into flight mode. You're going to be running away, ghosting, avoiding. It'll go into freeze mode, where you're just numbing out, shutting down, hiding. Or the fourth, it's going to go into this fawn reaction state, which is where we put people pleasing and energy managing and emotional managing. Just smooth it over. Just say what they need to hear so that they'll calm down. It's about keeping the peace at your own expense. That is a nervous system dysregulation response. So the concept of let them sounds amazing and it sounds really easy. Just let them. But when you go to apply it, this is why it feels anything but easy. Because you're not just able to turn something off when you decide you're going to let them. Turn off how you feel. Turn off your nervous system's response to negative reaction or to non-preferred feelings. When you say, I'm just going to let them because you want to feel that unshakable peace, what you are actually saying is, I am going to stay with this uncomfortable feeling even when my nervous system wants to freak out because I've recalibrated it. I am going to hold this boundary. I am going to hold what I said without chasing it, without fixing, without managing everyone else's emotions. Okay, letting them isn't just pretending you don't care. It's not indifference. It's power. So when it comes to something like someone takes credit for your idea at work and you are going to let them, what that means isn't let them take credit for your work without any repercussions. It means staying regulated while you are feeling anger without going into a dysregulated nervous system so that you can access your higher level thinking, your logic brain, and decide, what do I want to do about it? Not how do I want to react? How do I want to respond? When someone misunderstands you, when they have a wrong opinion about you, you are going to feel the ache, the pain of someone being wrong about you. And instead of hypervigilantly trying to fix it, trying to track this person down and convince them, sit them down and just tell them all the reasons why they're wrong about you, you're not going to do that. You're going to regulate yourself so that you can feel this feeling without being dysregulated, so you can access that higher level thinking and say, why do I think I need to? Because maybe you do. Maybe you do want to find that person and change something. But most of the time, it's not going to be the big deal that your dysregulated nervous system is trying to make you believe it is. Let them only works in the way that you want it to work if you are able to hold that emotional charge of a non-preferred feeling that it brings up in your body. Right? So when people say, I'm trying to let them, I want to let them, but it feels really awful, it's just because they're in the gap. You are in the gap. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because your nervous system doesn't have the skill set yet. It hasn't been recalibrated to know how to handle non-preferred feelings and not interpret them as emergencies or dangerous. Your nervous system just doesn't have the skill. You don't have the nervous system regulation skill in the way that you need to in order to be able to handle uncomfortable feelings in your body. Once you got that, then you got the let them. But the majority of the humans out there don't have step 1 and step 2. They're just trying to let them through grit and through, just tenacity. Like, I'm just going to let them if it's the last thing I do. That's not how it works. You have to learn step 1 and step 2 to get to this. That's what I teach. That's what I teach in everything that I do. My private clients, the upgrade, this is the work that we are doing. Learning how to regulate your nervous system, to recalibrate it so that non-preferred feelings don't sound the alarm bells. It's about building emotional resilience. It's about developing enough self-trust, enough internal stability that you don't need to rearrange your entire life just so other people don't get upset. You stop being the unpaid energy manager for people who didn't even ask you to take on this job. And one of the things, I may have mentioned this at the beginning, I can't even remember now, but one of the things that people tend to get stuck on, so I want to make it really clear here. When we think of this idea of detachment or the let them concept, the let them theory, it almost feels like I have to stop caring. I have to care less about things. And I want to assure you that's not what you need to do. You're not going to be a person who just can turn off a switch and not care anymore. You do. You're a caring person. That's who you are. It's a good thing, right? In order to let them, you don't have to stop feeling. You don't have to accept bad behavior. That's not what let them means. It means that your peace is no longer up for negotiation. It means that other people's behavior, what they say, what they do, what they think, does not dictate your nervous system. It means that you can feel whatever feeling shows up. Rage, guilt, rejection, injustice, and not interpret it as an emergency and act from panic. And the most interesting thing, as people start doing this practice for real in their life, what they will often come to realize is that when you actually let somebody, let them be in a bad mood, let them be, have misunderstand you, most of the time when you let them, it's really not a big deal. They realize nothing major happens. This person, they did what they did, and you let them, and you realized you're okay. It was a little uncomfortable while you held the desire, that urge to want to convince them that they're wrong about you. But once you just allowed that feeling to be with you, knowing that you have already trained your nervous system not to freak out, you are okay. You didn't die when you let them. You didn't crumble. The world didn't implode. You're still here. That's the beginning of self-trust. That's how you recalibrate your nervous system. That's how you start building emotional resilience, how you start being able to actually let them so you can experience that inner peace that you are really after. You can do it not as just this idea, this idea that you heard about on social media or a book that you read, but as a lived reality. And listen, you like the concept, you like this idea, but when you go to put it into play, it's going to feel like you can't do it. Oh my God, I can't though. I can't just sit here when he's in a bad mood. It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's normal. It's because this work is deeper than a quote. It's not about being smarter or having the information. It's about having the skills, the foundational skills, nervous system first, so you can feel your feelings, so you can be safe in your body even when non-preferred feelings show up. Those skills are non-negotiable. You aren't ever going to be able to let them if you have not learned and practiced these skills. If you don't have these skills, it's not because you've done something wrong. Again, it's because nobody has taught them. That's not what we are being taught in school or at home. This is a different skill. If you don't have the skill, I highly, highly recommend you prioritize it. You get someone to help you because this isn't solo work for lots of reasons I'm not going to get into right now. This is what I walk my clients through, whether they're my private coaching clients, whether they are in the upgrade, which is my kind of hybrid course and direct access coaching program. Those are two great options if you are looking to work with me. If you're not ready for that, you can start with a private podcast, the Hyperachiever to High Performer podcast. That is where I lay out all of the groundwork for all of this. For if you want to let them, here's what you got to do first. You have to be able to regulate your nervous system. So you can find the link for any of those things, for the upgrade, for the private podcast, for private coaching in the show notes, or you can head to KristenFinch.com. To wrap up, yes, let them judge you, truly. Let them misunderstand you. Let them not do what they were supposed to do, but don't just let them as this passive thing or as a white knuckling, like this mantra where you are just trying so hard to let them. You can't skip the part where you feel the non-preferred feeling. Feel it. It's okay. It's supposed to be there. It doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. Process it. Stay with the feeling. That is where the freedom of let them lives. Not in being indifferent, but in being unshakable because you trust your nervous system. And so you trust yourself to handle any feeling that shows up and not judge them. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Grab that private podcast or show up for upgrade. Start regulating. I will see you next time.